Flick's Barca looks scary again.
Rashford in the form that he's in, it's absolutely sensational. Rashford at his brilliant best.
When these guys are clicking, it's a joy to watch.
Quickly, three players converge, but he's beaten them all. Lamine Yamal!
When something is even a tiny bit off, it's difficult to watch.
It's Carlos Forbes! Beautifully done! That's the definition of a devastating counter-attack!
But that defending from Barca for the second goal is just a shambles. There's no pressure on the ball. They've left all that space in behind. It's asking to be punished by very good players.
You can't watch Barca without getting at least one heart attack per match. That's just how Flick's system is. It gives you entertainment both in the best ways and the worst ways. It's why Barca can lose 4-1 to a team like Sevilla, but then put 4 past Athletic Club. It's why they put 3 goals past the terrorists that are Getafe, but then they also conceded 3 to a struggling Club Brugge. Defensively, they've actually been a lot better recently. Flick has decided to drop the high line a little bit deeper. Now, I've said this before, the high line was never actually the issue. Most people focused on it because it was the most obvious thing and it visibly looked the worst. But the problem was the initial press.
Not just the high line, it's every facet of the team today. But when you don't press from the front and you don't press then from the midfield and everybody's playing as individuals, then the back line gets even more exposed.
The lack of intensity and pressing before the passes were made over the high line was the biggest problem. You see, Barcelona defend from the front. They press teams and they squeeze them and they press really intensely, especially after they lose the ball, so that they can force teams into areas they don't want to be in, overload them, and then quickly win the ball back. The problem is, if that initial press isn't intense or if it's not done efficiently, then the high line gets exposed because the opposition has too much time on the ball to find the line-breaking passes. This is why all the goals that they have conceded in the past 2 seasons have pretty much looked identical. It's a pass out wide and then they cross it in behind the back line. Copy, paste, rinse and repeat. It's the same goal over and over again. Literally go and look at the PSG game.
As we head towards stoppage time, and they've got it here, Gonzalo Ramos! Will they strike in lethal fashion?
The problem though is that it does become Flick's fault because he should know that this is not career mode. Barca can't press intensely for 90 minutes, 120 minutes every single game for 2 years. Naturally, there's going to be fatigue, both mentally and physically. I mean, look at this interview from Gerard Martin and Inigo Martinez from last season, with these guys talking about the fact that they couldn't sleep at night because of the fact that they had to think so much during the matches.
Bueno, después de los partidos siempre me cuesta dormir bastante. Y yo creo que en parte, pues, eso, que como tienes que estar con tanta tensión y tan concentrado en el partido, luego eso te dura unas horas y hasta que te duermes, pues, cuesta un poco.
So think about it, the high line is so intense that these guys physically couldn't shut off their brain post-match. So it was never going to be sustainable. Fortunately, Flick has realized that was the issue. Now the back line drops deeper and Barca are not playing with a line all the way at the halfway point every single match. So it makes it easier for the defenders because now not every single little mistake is going to get punished.
You cannot play in the Champions League with that high line. I'm sorry. When you play against good teams, you're going to get exposed. Any run, well-timed run, you go through on goal.
Because remember, if everybody in the back line looks bad, then it's not really the team's fault, it's a tactical / managerial issue. Because Koundé, Balde, Kubarsi, they all had a fantastic season last year. They didn't just all forget how to play football. It's the intensity of having to operate that high line over and over again that caught up to them. And that high line naturally makes even the best defenders look bad in certain situations because you can't afford to make any mistakes. Sometimes you can get exposed without even making an error. If the midfielders and the attackers are not pressing well enough, which was an issue early in the season, then as the defender you're gonna look bad, but realistically it wasn't actually your fault. It also helps defensively that Joan Garcia is back. This guy is a stud. Every single time I see Barcelona fans describing him, I feel like I'm watching that Georgienko clip where he's describing Andrew Tate.
I'll never forget it. He's super tall, bro, and like it's super intimidating when he has so many bodyguards around him, and he came in. I was so nervous, but when he stuck his hand out and smiled, I felt safe. Just the way he asserted himself, the way he talked, the way he taught me his way of life, the way he was fearless. I understand why there's a lot of men that want to listen to him.
Naturally, this guy is better than Szczesny in everything. He's a better shot stopper, he's quicker off his line, he's a better sweeper keeper, he's much better with the ball at his feet. And Szczesny, he's even known this. There's no one who glazes Garcia more than Szczesny. This guy is so good that even when Barca were shaky at the beginning of the season, he bailed them out. Go and look at the performance against Rayo Vallecano. Any other year, and that would have been a loss. But Joan Garcia helped get a draw out of that.
Some really good goalkeeping. Got a point. Basically got a point because They did not deserve that in the end. Garcia, the Barcelona goalkeeper, made save after save after save, particularly in the second half.
Then go and look at the performance against Newcastle. Barca could have easily been down a goal early if it wasn't for him. The guy is a beast, and unfortunately his development was actually disrupted because of the injury. Now that he's been back and he's getting more reps in with the back line and with the team, he's only going to get better. I genuinely can't believe that De La Fuente didn't call this guy up, but somehow called up Unai Simon again. I mean, Unai Simon literally can't save a PDF right now. It's like I'm watching Spanish Ter Stegen. The other player who's done well in the back line has actually been Gerard Martin. At left center back, honestly, this guy looks like Maldini. I'm joking, by the way. I still wouldn't trust him fully in a big Champions League game, as we saw what happened with him against Inter, even at left back. But as much as I've criticized this guy, he gets the credit where it's due. He has stepped up when he had to. And as a rotational piece in La Liga matches, he's great. He's a great squad player. That's basically what he's good for. And every time he's been called upon, he's done an excellent job. The one guy, though, who I really want to talk about is Eric Garcia. Now, this guy, I don't even know what you want to label him. I made this tweet the other day, and I think it's the perfect explanation of what he does. He's the Lionel Messi of James Milner's. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. James Milner was a guy who, no matter where he played, he gave you an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 performance. I saw this guy play as a fullback, as a central midfielder, even on the wing. Eric Garcia has been that type of player for Flick. He's been the Swiss Army knife. I've seen him play right back, center defensive mid. I mean, he can even play up front if Flick ever asked him. Could you imagine Eric Garcia and Ronald Araujo up front? Two big men.
Two big pair up front that are going to trouble.
Just work off each other.
Nice little big man, little man combo in a 4-4-2. It'll go crazy. But no matter where Eric Garcia has played, he's been terrific this season. At center defensive mid, he honestly looked like Caicedo. He was so aggressive in the duels. He constantly won the ball back. In fact, if you go and watch that first game that Barca played in the reopening of the Camp Nou, it was Eric Garcia's tackle that led to the first goal. Now, I don't want to do that thing where a player performs well now and we try and pretend like he wasn't bad before. Eric Garcia, a few years ago, did not look like the quality of players that Barca wants. He wasn't good. So it's a testament to his work ethic and perseverance that he's become good again, as well as Flick's system and his coaching. But right now, there isn't a better rotational player out there. The fact that this guy can seamlessly go into any position in the starting 11 and do good, it means he's a beast. In fact, I think he's been significantly better than Koundé as a right back. Then we have Marcus Rashford. Now, Rashford is sometimes a bit of a polarizing figure, which I was surprised about given the fact that this guy was supposed to be a rotational option. He was brought in to rotate with Rafinha and Yamal because of the amount of games, but he was basically thrown into the fire because of injuries. So Rafinha got injured, Yamal got injured, Lewandowski got injured, and as a result, Rashford had to basically play in all of those positions. But that's exactly why he was brought in. Everybody knew that he is versatile. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play up top. And in my opinion, he did an excellent job. I mean, look at his statistical output. This guy was supposed to come off the bench, and he's giving you starter level quality. Even better than that, he's giving you incredible quality. Look at him compared to other wingers, like look at him compared to Nico Williams. Luis Diaz is outperforming him, but you have to consider the fact that Luis Diaz would have cost way more money, and he's doing it in the Bundesliga. I don't want to disrespect that league, but we have seen players that play for Bayern, their stats do get inflated. Just in general in the Bundesliga, it gets inflated. I mean, look at Florian Wirtz. He looked like a Ballon d'Or player at Leverkusen, and then he came to Liverpool, and he looks a shadow of the same guy. So as far as I'm concerned, Rashford is doing a great job. Yes, he's not the perfect player, but he was never supposed to be that. He was supposed to be an option in the short term, a cheap option, somebody that can come in and give you a shift no matter where he played. And in my opinion, he's done that. He's gotten some big goals.
Koundé. Rashford with the header, 1-0. And in front of the England manager, Marcus Rashford scores his first Barcelona goal.
Big assist.
Here's Rashford fed by Pedri. Ferran Torres.
So yes, I understand there are issues with the way that he presses. He loses the ball a little bit too easily, but he adds some much needed pace and power to a squad that in my opinion was missing it. Then we get to Lamine Yamal.
Quickly three players converge, but he's beaten them all. Lamine Yamal!
In my opinion, this guy, purely based on ability, is still the best player in the world.
I know we've said this before, but what a special player Lamine Yamal is. I mean, in terms of changing a game, in terms of dragging a team back into a game. Sometimes it's playground stuff. He just makes his game look so easy.
I hope his haters enjoyed that small opportunity they got to take their shots, because this guy, he's back to his best. These guys were literally hating on a guy recovering from an injury because he had a couple of bad performances. And I'm gonna put bad in quotations because, to be honest with you, they weren't that bad. But obviously, if we're going to call him the best player in the world or one of the best players in the world, we do have to hold him to a higher standard. So I don't mind if people say those were bad performances, because for someone of Lamine Yamal standards, they were. But I mean, this guy, now that you see him near 100%, I mean, look what he's doing to team. The Trivela assist, the dribbling. Single-handedly, he creates numerous big chances, literally all by himself. You just give him the ball on the right wing and he makes things happen. In fact, it's a testament to his greatness that he makes Ferran Torres look like a good footballer. That's just a joke for those of you that are soft and are going to get offended on Ferran Torres' behalf. But let's be serious. A lot of the goals that he scores, it's because of Lamine Yamal putting it on a platter for him. In fact, he should have more goals if he was actually clinical. I posted this the other day as a joke, obviously, comparing back Yamal and Ferran Torres' recent performances to Messi and David Villa. But realistically, it's more like Messi and Christian Teo. But Yamal, he's living up to that number 10 jersey. The pressure of that jersey is very heavy, but he's doing an incredible job. I mean, the way that he dribbles by players, his creativity, he deserves to be in a stadium like the Camp Nou. He's a spectacle. He's got that aura. Yes, you guys are all going to come on and say, oh, you're glazing Yamal again. He's just the best. He's one of the few players in world football right now that truly gets me out of my seat, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it. And you have to keep in mind that he hasn't even played with his boys yet. That incredible front three of Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Yamal were barely healthy. Every time one of them got injured and then recovered, the other guy would get injured. So imagine how much better his stats will be when he plays more games with these guys again. Because right now, this season, he's getting a lot of goals and assists. He's always passed the eye test with flying colors. He's exceptional. But people complain that he didn't get enough statistical output. Well, this season, that has not been a complaint. In fact, he's gone on the other end. Sometimes he's not that great. He loses the ball a ton, or he doesn't really look like he's that into the game. But then boom, he'll get an assist out of nowhere. Even early in the season, you could tell that he's faster, stronger. That injury really hindered his development a bit. But now, you are seeing what the best version of Yamal looks like. A player who can create and score. And then, of course, we get to Robert Lewandowski. Now, this guy, in my opinion, is already a Barca legend. When you look at the context of when he came in, it's hard to make the argument that he's not one. I mean, he came to Barca at a time where nobody wanted to come to the club. He could have chilled at Bayern, kept stat padding, kept winning trophies, but he took on a new challenge.
The last few days was very long days, but in the end, the deal is done. So now I'm going to be the focus on new chapter in my life, new challenge.
He came to a struggling Barcelona side. I mean, I think at that point they had been in Europa League for back-to-back years. He came in, he took the risk, and he has scored for fun ever since he arrived. I mean, he's almost in the top 10 all-time top goal scorers, and he's only been at the club for 4 seasons. Like, he's been exceptional. Pichichi in his first season. Even last year, he was actually pushing with Lewandowski for a bit before the injury. And I actually think when it's all said and done, there's going to be some uncomfortable conversations between the comparisons about him versus Suarez at Barca. I still think overall, if you look at their careers, Suarez is a better footballer. He did more with less. But in terms of just their Barca careers, Suarez basically had 1.5-2 good years. Lewandowski has arguably already passed that. Now, of course, Suarez helped the team win a treble, but he also had Messi and Neymar. Lewandowski's come to a Barca team that was nowhere near as good as the ones that Suarez played on early when he joined in. Now, again, that's a debate for another time, but I'm just saying the way that Lewandowski's been playing, there will be some uncomfortable conversations because the guy's a beast, and his health will be critical to how Barcelona's season goes. Because yes, at times he still isn't the most clinical guy, but he just scores. He's a natural scorer. You can easily make the argument that he's been the best number 9 in the past decade. And he's so needed for this Barca team because they need a box-dominating striker to help against those low blocks. Somebody that can get those flicks and score. Somebody that you can cross into who can win those headers. He is essential. And the healthier that he is, the higher that Barca's ceiling will be. If he can help Barcelona win a Champions League, then oh my god, his status among the community, among the fans, it's going to be sky high.
Diabolical, the most dangerous, a beast slayer, a conqueror's conqueror, the goat of all goats.
Now, the last guy I want to talk about is Fermin Lopez. I genuinely can't believe that Chelsea thought they were going to get this guy for £40 million. He's one of the best number 10s in the world.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here.
The intensity and aggression that he plays with, that is not coachable. You cannot teach someone that. You either have that dog in you or you don't. And he has it. He's always had a chip on his shoulder. And when you look at his journey, you realize why. He was basically banished into the 3rd division of Spanish football when he was at La Masia. And at one point, it looked like his footballing career was going to be done. But then he worked his way back to the first team. And he's just such a joy to watch. I've made a separate video on him before. He's basically the antithesis of La Masia graduates. Because most of the La Masia midfielders, they want to hold hold the ball, they want to keep it, they want to dictate the tempo. This guy is very direct. He reminds me so much of Kevin De Bruyne. He wants to get forward, he wants to shoot, he wants to make things happen. He doesn't just want to keep possession for the sake of possession. And you're seeing the results of that in his statistical output. He gets so many goals and assists. He helps Barca so much. And again, I always have to go back to this. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want Dani Olmo when Barcelona signed him. I was very vocal that I didn't think it was worth the fee because I knew that Barca had this demon. And now he's showing it on the biggest stage. Champions League, La Liga, it doesn't matter. He just does the work needed in that number 10 role. He presses, he works hard defensively, but then he gets you statistical output. And it's not like it's new. We saw it last year. That performance he had against Bayern really stands out in my mind. He's been a great player and he's just been unleashed in Flick system. And to think that Barca could have had this guy and kept their money by not having Olmo.
We'll bring in Dani Olmo because he'll go alongside Gundogan, he'll go alongside Pedri, he'll go alongside Gavi, and I'm saying that's fine. Who the hell is going to defend?
But then you can make the argument that they don't win La Liga last year without Olmo, so I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But right now, I think it's very clear who's the better number 10 in the team. Frankie and Pedri have been exceptional too. I hate when Barca fans try and compare these guys. They're on the same team and have completely different roles. They're both essential. They dictate the tempo. They keep the composure in the squad. I mean, if you want an example of how important these two guys are, just go and look at that performance against Newcastle. In a hostile away environment, against one of the most physical and athletic midfields out there, these guys played like it was a training session. They kept dictating the tempo. They just held the ball for fun.
After the game, Anthony Gordon had nothing but praise for their rivals on the night, saying the way they keep the ball was a learning experience. They were the best I've played against in that sense of the game. To be honest, we are not used to playing against players who can keep the ball in this way.
And they're so good because Frankie stays further back. He plays a little bit safer. Then Pedri pushes up and he plays the line-breaking passes. They're both essential. Stop trying to compare them. In fact, Pedri, he's just exceptional. To get his jersey, go to buygamejerseys.com and use code PETTALKS at checkout for a discount. To see his journey from this unknown midfielder who Barca fans didn't know who he was to the best midfielder in the world, you have to check out this video right here.